today we're going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be talking about my experience with anxiety medication, PTSD medication, and insomnia medication, and the truth behind what it actually does to you. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are subscribed down below. Thank you to my new subscribers. Once again, you guys are killing it. And make sure you turn your post notifications on so you'll never miss an upload from me. And hit that like button if you enjoy this video so I'll know what type of content you guys like. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, this is just my experience, so if you have had a good experience with anxiety medications or anything, comment down below and maybe that can help someone else who watches this video to see what you guys did. But this is just what it did for me. And so it was 2013, which used to be the worst year of my life. 2018 topped that when my mother passed, but 2013 was a awful year for me. And I just had so many hardships that were just coming one after the other without a let up. Like, it was one thing after the next. And if you know anything about me, you kind of know my backstory. If you don't, I have a video just before this one. Go back and check that one out, and you might get to know me and you'll kind of understand me better. But the synopsis to kind of bring all this home, in 2000, the way I grew up, we were very sheltered. Like, we weren't allowed to watch TV. We wore long dresses. We went to church 3 times a day. So many different things, variables in our lives that I wasn't prepared for the real world. And I thought I knew everything. I mean, I literally thought I knew. You couldn't tell me anything. I knew it already. You couldn't tell me. And so I was out here big and bad as I thought I was and thought I could be. And boy, did reality slap me in the face. I had too many things coming at one time, and it was just a lot of too much to handle. And I was dying. I was literally dying, but I didn't know. And if you knew me like 2013, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, you would think I had it all together. I swear to you. I'm sorry about this traffic, guys. I'm outside and I live on a highway. But I thought I knew everything. And trust me, your mom knows what she's talking about. If my mom was here today, even though I told her before she died, she was always right. Always right. She never steered me wrong. And everything that she has taught me, I didn't know it then, but it's coming back now. And I'm seeing exactly what she was talking about. And it's the same way with your prayers, and we'll get to that, how they just kind of come full circle. But I couldn't handle my life. I had so many things going on with me, and before one thing was over, another thing happened. Before that thing was over, another thing happened. But the way I perceived myself to people, I had it all together. I was living the life. I was just living that life. Like, I felt like you couldn't touch me. I felt like you just could not touch me. And so when things started coming, I had never had a hardship. I thought I had a hardship, but I had never been hit with hardships until a lot of things happened. Long story short, after about 6 months of me being just out of my head, I didn't know what was going on. I started seeing a doctor. They put me on this medication. It was a disaster. Like, at first I just felt so much better because they diagnosed me with anxiety, and I have generalized anxiety, which is the worst anxiety you can have, and PTSD. There's a lot of trauma that comes with me, which will be coming in other story times, but this one is specifically about the medication and stuff and what it did to me. So I was on this medication, and then after so long, I just noticed that at first I was okay, and then I didn't feel anything, and then I was so happy because I didn't feel anything. But then back then, 2013, I started mixing it with cocaine, liquor, any type of drug I thought I was big and bad enough to take, just trying to escape a reality when all I had to do was turn to God. But I didn't. I was trying to escape my reality. I didn't know how to handle anything that I was going through. I was talking a big talk, walking a big walk, but inside I was dead. And I am literally the poster child for someone that does not look like what they've been through. I'm 47 years old, and you would not look at me and tell it. I'm not boasting in that. My boast is always in the Lord, but I'm saying that to make a point. You would think I'm younger than what I am. You would think that I've had a good life. You would think that I've been well kept, when the reality is I've been in the garbage can for years, and I was trying to get myself out of it instead of going about it the right way. After being on these medications, after so long, when I didn't feel anything, it felt good. And so I wanted to keep it like that. But then I noticed that, like, after a couple of months, I didn't feel anything. And in the beginning, I wasn't even taking any type of medication. Drugs outside of that medication. I wasn't even drinking with it at first. And I still had these symptoms. So I started self-medicating on top of being medicated by my doctor, which spiraled it. If you do things like that, please stop. Just literally don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So after a few months of me just thinking that I'm living my best life, so to speak, I started crumbling, and I was crumbling fast. And it was scary because I really didn't know what was going on with me, but I didn't want to slow my life down either, to just take a time and breathe. Around that same time, I was questioning my relationship with God, even though I wasn't a Christian. Means to be Christ-like, and I'm not Christ-like. And so I don't want people to think that I come here to preach, because I'm just coming to tell what my testimony is, and if it blesses somebody, it blesses somebody. But you don't go through anything just to say you went through it. You go through it to help someone else, and I hope that my story can help somebody else. And so, I was just lost, confused, but also arrogant and full of pride, and thinking that I had the way. I didn't need to pray. I had the way. I don't need you to tell me what to do. I know what to do. That was my thinking. That was my mindset, and boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong, and God showed me that really, really quickly. He showed me that really quickly. And so the first time, one day I was just arguing and fussing and crying, and I honestly can't tell you what I was fussing about, but I remember going in my room and I could hear something telling me, just nobody loves you, just end it. Nobody loves you. They don't care anything about you. Look at everybody. When's the last time somebody reached out to you? The enemy try to give you these pity party type things to try to make you feel sorry for yourself, or the woe is me. And I was feeling it. I was feeling it. It was woe is me. I had the worst pity party life, living with such, please realize that I'm sad, feel sad for me. Guys, you can't do that. We have to just pick ourselves up, because nobody's going to care about your life like you do. The only time they're going to really, really care is when you're dead. It's the truth. Do you notice that people get more love when they die? But when they're alive, we don't tell them what they need to hear. It's sad, but it's the truth. And so when all of this happened, I heard those voices, and I literally went in my room, and I had, I'm going to link, or not link, but I'm going to put in here when I edit this video exactly what medications I was on, because I can't think right now. But I went in the room, and I know Flexeril, the muscle relaxer, and Valium, I was taking both of those. I was also going to a pain clinic because I had widespread pain throughout my body. And so, which they told me was fibromyalgia. Come to find out, it wasn't, but I was medicated for it. I was on 17 different medications, and it killed me inside. Even though I was walking around, I was dead. I was dead. I was lost. I was confused. I wasn't a good mother. I wasn't a good sister. I wasn't a good daughter. I wasn't a good wife. I wasn't a good cousin. I wasn't a good friend. I wasn't a good person, because you can't be a good person. Well, I can't say you can't be a good person. You don't show how good of a person you are when you're lost, and when you're alone, and when you're feeling self-pity and stuff. We just have to let that go. We just can't focus on it, because for one, we can't pity ourselves. I took all this medication and I started feeling myself. I mean, it was the day I got the bottle, and I know this day I only took the Flexeril. I had 31. I took every last one of them. And at the time, I can't remember what happened, but I think I yelled Tim. I don't remember, and then I blacked out. And my husband came in the room and he saw me on the bed, and I saw him look at me, and I heard him talking, but I didn't know what he was saying. And I just blacked out again. And when I came to, I was in the hospital. And I don't mean getting my stomach pumped. I mean being in a straitjacket. It's not funny at all. I'm not laughing at the fact that I was in there. I'm laughing at the fact that the devil really thought he had me, but I got away. I did. And so after I tried to take all those meds to take my life, and I ended up in the psych ward. I was there for 5 days, and I was convinced there was nothing wrong with me. How would y'all dare do this to me? And so after there was a person in there that told me, hey, all you have to do is act like you, just say everything they want you to say, because they're going to believe it, and then they'll know that you're okay. Just say this. So I said it, and after 5 days they let me go. Less than a month later, my son comes to my house. I think he was 24, 25 at the time. He came to our house, and I was washing dishes, and when he walked in, I had a big knife to my wrist. This was the second attempt, 2013. He ran, he grabbed me, he said, Mom, Mom, and he took the knife from me. He called 911. They tried to get me. Y'all, I was crazy. Like, they couldn't keep me in them handcuffs. They kept trying to put me in the handcuffs, and every time they would get my hands behind my back and try to get me in the car, I would get because my hands are small. I'm really short and little, and so I kept getting my hands out of the restraints, and they had stopped about 4 times on the way to the police station. And if you're familiar with Muncie, Indiana, at the time is where I was living. I was living in Muncie at the time, and it doesn't take that long to get to the hospital from where I was living, and so I got out so many times. Finally, they just started laughing. They were like, look, just sit down and stop. And I was like, okay, I don't know who had those cuffs on and still trying to be bougie. How you gonna be bougie and you about to be put back in the mental ward? You're not bougie, Stacy. I'm not talking about y'all, I'm talking about me. This isn't universal, this is just me. I'm just like, how you bougie and girl, you can't even think for yourself. You need to calm down. But I sure was. And they put me in there again. I stayed that time for 5 days. My mom came and signed the paper for me, and I was mad at her. I was like, I'll never talk to you again, blah, blah, blah. Ended up, I got a little bit of help that time. And then I wasn't stable, but I still was taking the medication and stuff. And I was still crazy. But I was still living life, and nobody knew because I knew how to mask it so good. People who do drugs and who have different issues and stuff like that, they know how to mask things to make you believe certain ways when the reality is not that. Fast forward to 2018, my mother passed away. Okay, 2018. My mom passed, and so it devastated me. It devastated me. Okay, get it together, girl. My mom passed away in 2018, and it was right after, it was like a year, it was not even 2 years after my nephew, who wasn't even a teenager, passed away on my birthday. And so I also got like other devastating news in my life days after losing my mom. Or not days after losing my mom. I had lost my nephew. I had lost my mom. The year before, I got devastating news in my own household, and it was just a lot of too much to handle once again 5 years later. And so I tried to commit suicide again, and I was on medication, same medications. I tried again and was taken to a hospital in Alabama. I was out for a while and just still could not seem to get it together. And so I was talking to my best friend on FaceTime, and she called 911, and she let them know what was going on with me and what I said, and they came and they got me and took me back to Alabama. And it was at that visit where I actually had to stay. I believe it was 9 days I had to stay. And I told God then, I said, God, if you get me out of this, if you restore my mind, I'll never touch this medication again. And when they let me out, because they were medicating me while I was in there. When I got out, they gave me prescriptions for it, and I took the medicine again anyway, after I told the Lord if he would just get me out, what I would do. And I guess I lied, because I took the medicine anyway. I was just scared. I'm like, what if I go crazy? I need this medicine, not knowing that the medicine is making me sicker. And so one day I got my medicine. I was in therapy in Alabama, going 4 times a month, driving an hour away, and I got my medicine and I took it, and I came home and laid down, and the next thing I know, I live on a highway. I was running down this highway, literally running, looking for one of my husband's kids, like screaming, Damon, Damon, Damon. He's never even lived here. He's never lived here. And I was screaming. That medicine had me so gone. And I caught myself. I almost got hit by a truck, like by a semi truck. And then I walked back and I was looking, and I remember my neighbor had surveillance on her house. And I was like, she probably got me on video looking like a fool running down this street. And it was that day that I told God I was done, and I put that medicine in the garbage. I put every drop of it in the trash, and I asked God to help me, and I fell on my face. I said, God, please help me, restore my mind, restore my joy. And God's not like a magician. You tell him to do something and then boom, he's going to do it just because you asked and because you're feeling sorry for yourself. No, it's work. And people don't understand how hard it is to just heal, especially when you're doing it alone. My mom was my best friend, and I'm so glad that I was able to tell her all the things that I forgive her for, all the things that I'm sorry for as a daughter that I had done, all the things that I loved her for. Like, she knew all those things well before she passed. And I looked at all the time I wasted, all the people that I hurt. It doesn't matter how good we think we are, how sweet we think we are, how likable we think we are. All of us are a villain in somebody's story, and so we can't be on a high horse, and we have to learn to let things go. Anxiety comes from you holding on to something too long. There's nothing, no one, no person, no thing, no place worth your life. Nobody can love you enough to be worth you taking your life for. Nobody can hate you enough for you to take your life for. Nobody can do anything to you that you don't allow to be done to you. If you know you're in a bad situation, leave. If you know that you're at a bad job and it's causing you your mental health, ask God to help you to get another job and leave. Don't just quit your job. Because we have to be smart. We're workers together with God. But ask God to help you, because he will. If he'll help me, I know he'll help you. And for my mind to be restored, for my vision to be clear, for me to be evolving and realize that the things I did even a year ago, they disgust me now. The people that I have allowed to myself to be around, I'm never disgusted by a person, but I don't just hang around anybody. Protect your peace, protect your energy, protect your joy. We can't put ourselves in a bubble and just stay away from the world because we're supposed to go out and compel people to come. But what we can do is protect yourself until you are stable enough and strong enough, because you don't have anything to give someone else if you're dying inside. You don't have anything to offer. And pay attention to the people who are supposed to be your people when you're dying and when you're going through. How are they handling that? How are they handling you? What kind of grace is being shown? We have to look at these things and understand that we're workers together. And if you say that you love someone and you cherish them, your actions are going to speak for that when crunch time comes and when they need someone. If you don't know what to do, doing something is better than doing nothing. Don't let your loved ones deal with hurt and pain on their own. Don't let your loved ones just medicate themselves. Educate yourself on herbal medication. The PTSD is so severe and the anxiety, the two coupled together and having insomnia. I still don't sleep good. I still have anxiety all the time. I changed my diet and it's better, but it's still debilitating, you know. But I would rather have debilitating anxiety. I mean, you're choosing the lesser of two evils. I would rather have debilitating anxiety than to still have anxiety but have medication in me that's killing me at the same time. And it causes you not to think clear. Your loved ones notice it when you don't. You don't even realize how you're spiraling, you know, and being off task. My younger sister used to always say I was off task. I was, but I didn't see it. You know, I didn't see it at the time. But I was off task and I needed help. Y'all help the people that you say you love. If you say you love someone and you need them to get better, be their support. No man is an island and no man should have to stand alone. There's no point in being in someone's life if they're going to still feel alone. You might as well leave. Love who you love. Love your people. Love your people. Don't put anything before your family but God. Don't put anything before God, period. Oh, that's it, guys. That's all I have to say. Love your family. Love your people. Please do your research about anxiety medications and the side effects, because they're awful. They're bad. They can and will kill you, or help you, or give you the tools to kill yourself, because you're not thinking. Your brain is not being ran by just you. Medicine is telling you how to act, telling you how to be, cutting off certain things so you don't feel this and adding this so you feel that. It's not natural. That's not natural. That's not the way that it's supposed to be. And so we just have to do our research. Please, if you are somebody that suffers from anxiety, depression, PTSD, any of these mental illnesses, I promise you, you're not alone. Pray. I'm telling you, prayer is the key, because when you're alone and by yourself, God is there. Talk less, because it hurts worse when someone knows where you're at and what you've gone through and what you're dealing with, and they still shun you. It's easier to not trigger yourself, to just pray. Talk to God. He's never going to bring it up again, and he's the solution. He's going to help you. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. You are the real MVP. And subscribe to my channel, become part of the family, and let me know in the comments down below what you guys would like to see from me. I do have more videos coming. I have story times coming, some funny story times, and all silly things that I've done in the past that would just be funny. And we living in some hard times, and it's all for fun, all silly things that I've done in the past that would just be funny, and we living in some hard times, and we're home with the pandemic, and we don't have any silly things that I've done in the past that would just be funny, and we living in some hard times, and we're home with the pandemic, and we don't have anything to do, so we might as well laugh at each other.